Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing something I haven't done in quite a while, and I wanted to do another one of these where I am going to look at, we're going to look at a random article I found relating to fantasy books out on the old internet, and I'm going to judge it harshly and see if I agree with it or not, because as we all know, I am the authority on these things. So I did this with like best fantasy map type article a while back. I had some fun doing it, just kind of looking at it and giving my opinions here. So this time we're going to look at 10 great standalone novels for fantasy lovers who can't commit. So this doesn't necessarily say they're the 10 best, but I'll still, we'll see if I agree with the picks. So I haven't really looked at this. I literally, you can see this is over a month old at this point. I planned to do this much sooner than I got to actually doing it, but we're gonna do it now. So let's take a look. So we're gonna skip the intro here and just see what we got here. It does look like it's going to be a wide variety of stuff. It mentions really long series: Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Wheel of Time. So what are some standalones? I feel like we can always use some standalones. So first one is Crown Duel by Sherwood Smith. Gem of a novel: young Countess Meliara and her brother Branaric must do everything in their power to free the country from the reign of a tyrannical king, as was the dying wish of their father. I don't think I've heard of this. So originally it was two shorter novels, Crown Duel and Court Duel, but later condensed into the solitary work. I have a book by this author somewhere. A Sword Named Truth. I have not actually read those, so I don't know on this one. So it's a great read for adults and has a similar feel to Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, though the plot may not be as complex as it's a shorter book, not a series. Interesting. That doesn't really sound anything like Mistborn to me, but if you read this or this author, definitely let me know, because I don't know this one, so I can't really judge. So hopefully I'll recognize most of them, or this could be a really boring video. So we'll see. All right, let's see what number 9 is. Elantris. Yeah, that's not really surprising. This or Warbreaker are usually brought up on big fantasy standalone lists, which makes sense. So I like Warbreaker more than Elantris, I think, but I honestly enjoyed both, and they are pretty good for standalones, even though they'll eventually have sequels. They were put out as standalones, so not gonna argue here. Not a surprise to see it on the list. I feel like if they wouldn't have had one Sanderson one, they probably would have been everybody like going there. I love the book outlet ads I'm getting right now, including No One Likes a Fart, because they're having a children's book sale. So at least I'm getting targeted ads. I don't know if I should feel good about that or not, but what's next? The Rope Trick by Lloyd Alexander. So I don't recognize this, but yeah, it from the author of the famous Prydain Chronicles. I love the Prydain Chronicles. I did some videos on those way back in the day, early on in the channel, and I had read some of them when I was a kid, and I was revisiting, so enjoyed that. And I read something else too. He did like a YA series, and I read the first book. But this is the story of Liddy, a young and talented magician who travels with her teacher and father figure named Jericho. As they travel to perform their magic, they meet others who eventually join their troupe, including the handsome fugitive Julian, cruel and abusive father, best at nothing. She seeks out Ferramondo, the master of the rope trick, which is a really complicated trick. So enchanting, utterly charming tale told in the classic fashion of Lloyd Alexander. Huh. Okay, I don't know this one, but I'm interested to try it just because most of his stuff was for younger readers. Prydain was definitely younger readers. Like I said, I know he did. I can't remember the name of it, but I read a book that was part of a YA series he did a while back. But yeah, no, I'd be interested in that. So okay, we're definitely spreading out. We got some way old stuff. We got some new stuff. What is next? The Supernaturalist by Owen Colfer. I read a lot of his books when I was younger. I do not know how to say his name, so I'm just gonna apologize right now. So the Supernaturalist, though, I don't know this. Cosmo Hill is a 14-year-old orphan who manages to escape the Wait a minute. I think I've read this. Okay, this just blew my mind a little bit. I'm pretty sure I've read this book, and I knew I read some book with a character named Cosmo Hill, because I remember it's because he was born by Cosmonaut Hill and he's an orphan, and they just named them after where they're found. And so, yeah, cyberpunk science fiction novel in Satellite City. Huh. Okay, that's just I have vague memories of that novel. I never knew what it was called. I didn't even realize it was by the same author because I read a bunch of the Artemis Fowl books when I was a kid. I had no idea. Well, interesting. Well, I don't remember how good this was. I just distinctly remember reading it, but that's really cool to randomly just like unlocked core memory for a book I've actually read and didn't even remember reading. It's called The Supernaturalist. That doesn't ring a bell at all. But I mean, I probably just grabbed it because it was the same author, and I enjoyed the Artemis Fowl books as a kid. So, okay, yeah, I've read that one. I'm just gonna give it an honorary yes because I read it and I don't remember disliking it, which means it was probably okay at least. All right, number 6, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And okay, yeah. Also, I feel like this is kind of a given to have on here. So this has been a pretty diverse list so far. With they're not they're going for a couple of the obvious ones, but they're going for some other ones, a couple that I have not heard of by authors I'm familiar with at least a little bit. So it's been interesting. But yeah, The Hobbit which granted it does stand on its own. There's a whole lot more to it, but yeah, I mean, who would not recommend The Hobbit? So it's a good book. I haven't read The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings actually in a really long time. I'm planning on doing the Andy Serkis audios. Those went on a sale, and I have those, so I'm planning on trying that out because I had never done audio until very recently and have done more. But yeah, The Hobbit's a win on this list, so I will give you that one list. I feel like we're gonna start getting really controversial though for some reason. I have a feeling. So, number 5, Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Yeah, okay. This one, this is one where that's the only thing I've read by Naomi Novik. I had Spinning Silver, but I didn't actually read that one yet. From the sound of it, I didn't think I'd like that one as much. And I do plan to read her in the Majesty's Secret Service, like the Dragon one. I do plan to read that. I recently got a buying up of it. This one I think has had some mixed feelings from what I've heard. I read it not knowing who she was or what it is, or even that it was like a fairy tale retelling. I had no idea until it gets more obvious once you get further in. Yeah, so this one was pretty good. It worked pretty well for standalone. There was definitely some flaws. So if we're ranking these, then I would have a problem with this. But since it's just here are 10, I think this is okay. It's a pretty good standalone. That's not even like that kind of thing. Is not really my style, and I still thought it was pretty decent. So it's the girl lives in a village next to this dark forest. Or I'll describe instead of reading their words because I know this one. And there's like all kinds of creatures there, and she's taken and chosen to be the person they give over to the wizard, who's called the dragon. And it kind of, she finds out she has magic, and it kind of goes from there, and some interesting routes. But it has some pacing issues, but there were some really interesting parts to it, and I definitely I thought it was a pretty solid book. So I'm okay with this being on the list as well. Youre the Reaper by I just realized they actually have like a booktube video. Have I missed that? They did that? This is an interview that is about The Hobbit. I'm just going back really quick. That's the author. That's Lloyd Alexander. That's a Sanderson video. That makes sense for that one. So, this is the first one. They actually posted somebody's booktube video, so that's cool. Okay, scrolling back now. Chaos personified by that fiction life. So, Youre the Reaper by Makia Lucier, which I'm also probably mispronouncing. From refreshing new author, enthralling tale of Cassia, young lord of Oliveris. A war has been raging between Oliveris' neighboring enemy kingdom of Brisa for 50 long years. In the thick of the chaos, deadly plague rears its ugly head, taking countless victims. As the princess takes her journey to marry King of Oliveris, so the war can come to an end. When she goes home, she gets enslaved. There's a plot to assassinate those closest to the king and queen. Okay. I was just saying, I do not know this one, so maybe I might have to come back and watch the video. It sounds like a lot of kind of like elements I've seen before, but I don't know anything about this one. So This is another one where, like, there hasn't been any book where I'm like, I know this and I disagree, so I suppose that's fine. And with lists like this, too, you don't want it to just be stuff you've heard of before, because so far, there's been a couple things where I'm like, oh, I don't know this one, maybe I should check it out. So this is actually doing a lot better than the map list. The map list had some issues. This is a different website, though, so I'm not even picking on the same website, but this has been pretty good so far. Yeah, I don't know this one. Let me know in the comments if you know this one and have heard of it, for sure. Now, Watership Down. Okay, that I was not expecting. I feel like pretty much everybody knows what Watership Down is. I have read this. I don't know how old I was when I read this, but I read this forever ago. I'm sure I haven't like reread it in my adult life, but yeah, okay, that's probably fine. I think this is one of those ones too where honestly when people do read it when they're older, they still appreciate it, so that's probably fair. I am starting to wonder. I've noticed where we have we have like newer thing, and then we have really obvious established things. So I feel like they're kind of peppering about. That's why I'm wondering if it's going to be something like if we're going to get crazy. We're getting toward the end. Maybe not. We'll see though. So yeah, I don't really have a lot to say on this one, but I feel like that's fair to include on the list here. So we're doing pretty good so far. All right. The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. This one appears to be something about the book, but not a booktube video. So maybe we just get the one booktube video, I guess. But I thought that was cool. Anyway, so this is because I don't think I know this one either. The Last Unicorn. The title sounds familiar, but not the author. So most fascinating, unique stories of all time. Unicorn mission to save her kind. Worried that she may be the last, she sets out to discover the truth. They may have been taken away by Red Bull, because it gives you wings so they could fly them away. She's captured by a witch and a traveling carnival. Is this something? Oh, I just spoiled the end. Whoops. Is this something new? Is this something old? I don't know what this is. We're gonna take a side note and. The others I was pretty sure on the time period. When was this published? Originally published 1968. Okay. I still don't actually think I've read this one, but yeah, they've got a mix. So, okay. Yeah, I do not know this one either, but I do, the fact that they're actually, repping, like, here's some newer things, here's some older things, here's some well-known things, here's some maybe lesser-known things. I have to say, I'm still thinking it's doing a pretty good job. But yeah, I do not know this one. So I accidentally spoiled the last one. I said earlier, though, I'm like, oh, hey, it's Mike. Hi, Mike. So there are two booktubers on here. But yeah, I said on the last, when we saw Elantris, I'm like, yeah, having one or the other probably makes sense. They went for both, which also okay, but like I feel like you don't necessarily need more than one Sanderson book per list. But I mean, it's like, oh, Sanderson is such a legendary author that 2 of his novels have made it on this list. So I mean, like I said, that's fair. I know not everybody likes Sanderson. I like both standalones. If you're looking for standalone fantasy, easy to get through, kind of works for most ages. Warbreaker's good. Like I said, I actually liked Warbreaker a little bit more. So coming to this in the number 1 slot, definitely okay with as well. So I have to say, I was, I even joked at the beginning. I was planning to be like, this list is terrible, because like I had a lot of fun just like poking fun at the map list, but this has actually been a pretty good list, and so I do not have I don't have a lot of complaints. This is done pretty good. So good on you, listverse.com. And who wrote this? Does it say the author? I thought it said it at the beginning. Jamie Frater is the head editor. Does that mean you wrote this? Well, we'll give you a shout out. I don't know. Does it say at the end? Did I just not scroll far enough? It doesn't. There are some comments. But we're not gonna go into that one. So I don't know. It doesn't say. Maybe he wrote it because he's the head editor. But hey, we'll full screen up here. But yeah, so that is this list. I have to say pretty good. I wasn't expecting it to be that good because usually lists like this are kind of just like really. But it's pretty good. Let me know your thoughts though. What are some other great standalones that you would have put on this list? Are there any on here that you vehemently disagree with? I'm really interested to know. And standalones are always nice to navigate. That's why I saw this, and I'm like, this is probably going to be bad, but I clicked on it, and I'm like, you know what, I'll save it for a video. So kind of reading it here was fun to do, too. Let me know, too, if you've got an article like this you want me to react to and talk through. The last one people seem to enjoy, and honestly, these are kind of fun for me to do. So if you have an article you'd like me to react to and judge whether I end up agreeing or disagreeing, also let me know in the comments. I don't know if it'll let you actually link, so maybe just like say the title of it or something, or send it to me in Discord, because you can definitely link in Discord. I just don't want YouTube banning people's comments, because they do that sometimes with links. So, but yeah, let me know. These are kind of fun for me to do, so hopefully you enjoyed it too, but that is it for this one. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Wizardly Do It Discord. If you want to chat books, whether any of these books, other books, anything at all, really, it's a lot of fun. We would love to have you. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.